right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of 100% Transparency. Again, I'm Corey.
Daniel.
Patrick.
Gio.
All right, y'all. Another wealth of knowledge that we're gonna we just spitting out free game.
Yeah.
Like, reason being is because it costs nothing to deliver information in the right way, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It costs nothing. Now, what you do with that,
That's entirely up to you,
that's
man.
entirely up to you.
That's entirely up to you, man.
You know, if you just to know too, if you want one-on-one consultations or services, like we got that too.
Yeah.
But we just like giving out free game, letting everybody know that regardless, like anything is possible as long as you just take the risk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid. You know, fear is false evidence appearing real, man. That's
a motherfucking bar, son.
hell yeah, man. That's Les Brown right there.
Yeah, that's
man.
a bar.
But that's all it is. You know, you'll never know your fullest potential if you don't conquer your fears and overcome and just take a leap, man. But yeah, let's get into the nitty gritty.
All right.
We to piggyback on that, we just don't want anybody to lose.
Yeah.
There's a lot of game out there. People run game and all of that. We're here to just provide you with, like we said, 100% transparency.
The
So,
good, the bad,
The good, the bad, the ugly about it.
component of it.
We're gonna tell you what it is, and if you want to take our advice and roll with it,
Cool.
But you take it for what it is.
And I'm always gonna like y'all scammers, y'all get a big fuck you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Facts.
Like it's too many people out here with they suave at the mouth, they're rolling around big cars, houses, whatever, and you not knowing that they stole a lot of people money to get that.
Yeah.
That's real personal right there.
Yeah. So
Real personal.
So the bottom line is that we spitting this out to let y'all know. Can't nobody ever say that, hey, give group them, don't fuck with them, whatever the case
We
may
took
be.
this and this, that, and
You
the
know
third.
what I mean? So, but yeah, man, let's get into how you want to formulate,
Yeah.
your business, your
business.
your entity.
Yeah.
Because some people, there's different kinds of
They're different.
entities, right? You wanna touch on a few for me?
So the first thing is we have to understand that we're living now in different times when it comes to business, the banks, the financial industry. How things was 4 years ago, now it's a totally different climate. Why banks are losing money, right? A lot of businesses are filing bankruptcy, this, that, and the third. So to protect themselves, banks are changing laws, the rules, I should say. FDIC have new rules that they implemented. The NCUA, same exact thing. So I think as these things change, we have to update also our information as far as how we structure our business, right? Like, prime example, 4 years ago, you could use the iPostal the one iPostal as an actual business address. If you walk inside a Chase, Wells Fargo right now with that address, that's registered as a P.O. box. So the iPostal no longer works.
No go.
I would recommend virtual offices. It's gonna cost you some money, anywhere from like $50 to $100 a month, but it's well worth it.
And then even then too, you gotta be careful of which virtual offices.
Correct.
Some I've been in a situation before where I go to open a business bank account online. Believe it or not, some banks do let you do that.
Yeah.
And because of the underwriting process, the automated underwriting process, they look up the address that the business is registered to, and it comes back to the virtual office. So they shut down the account.
Yeah.
Now, guess what? You can't go back and reopen that
account.
That's a business account with that same LLC, so you're screwed.
Right.
So that's even with virtual offices. There's nothing wrong with if you don't have a legitimate storefront or office space. There's nothing wrong with using your home address.
Yeah.
If you want to use the virtual office when you're filing the LLC, because that's public record.
Right. You can always change it.
You can always
You
change
can make
it,
amendments.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's never. A matter of fact, like if we in 2025, like I don't care who you work for, like if you don't have an LLC, like you're sleeping.
Yeah.
You should have an LLC. Everybody can provide a service.
There is so much benefits to a LLC.
Oh yeah, tax bet. Like, come on now.
Huge.
So much
It is.
benefits.
We're gonna talk about that.
How you think them boys in Congress work?
Exactly. You know, but let's talk, I think it's good to touch on how many LLCs do you need minimum? Would you say to start?
I would say at least two.
out of
At
state?
least two.
At least
Two?
two.
Yeah.
Operating.
least.
You want to have an operating LLC, and you probably need to have an LLC, just a title
Yep.
for title purposes.
Basically acquisitions.
Acquisition, yeah.
Yeah.
Acquire.
One of your LLCs, you know, you're using to purchase the properties with.
Yep.
The other LLC is strictly operations.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, your day to day, you know, your expenses.
Yeah.
You know, it's invoices, stuff like that. You know,
And
You
it's
know,
easier when it comes around with tax time. You just
Yeah.
hey, if you go to your what do you call them?
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State or your tax preparer or whatever. All that information is already there. Boom, they got it.
Yeah. So another thing to add on to the LLC, if we're targeting or our core audience are potential out of state investors, you have to also understand how to file a foreign entity in the state that you're doing
Yeah.
business in.
Yes.
So once you structure your LLC, you get your LLC up and running, right? We're gonna go dive more into that as well. You want to also go to the Secretary of State in that state that you are going to be doing business.
Right.
Like example for us here, we reside in Florida, right? So we had to file a foreign entity in Cleveland to do business in Cleveland. So that is one thing also that as an out of state investor, where you're going to do business, you also have to register that business as a foreign entity as well.
They want their cut too.
Yeah.
And even when you're formulating the LLC, you know, you have like a registered agent, right? A lot of people use themselves as a registered agent, which is fine, but legally, your registered agent is basically another entity who's responsible for receiving any legal process, things like that on behalf of the entity. Yeah. So a lot of people, when they use like LegalZoom, or Busy or something like that, that's their registered agent,
right?
You know, which is good to have because it's a certain level of privacy, as well, right?
Agreed. Agreed.
And a lot of the times, what you'll run into when you go and talking to the banks and you're trying to get funding, they'll look and they'll be like, yo, I see you're the registered agent on your business. And then the business address comes back to the virtual office or whatever. They're going to be like, nah, we're going to need to know where you reside because we want to know where to get in contact with you.
Yeah.
Which is what...
If we need to come pick your ass up.
Which is what a registered agent really is.
Yeah.
You know, they need to make sure, and it's just covering their ass.
Yeah.
They need to make sure they can get a hold of you.
As I said before, 4 years ago, they didn't care too much about this. Now, it's a different climate. Yeah. Like, I remember when we had the conversation about it, I'm like, seriously? Because believe it or not, he's the one who put me on game onto this. Right? You know, because I never used to pay attention because I've never ran into that issue. Right? But as I said, things are changing. Things are really changing in today's financial climate. So when he told me about it, I said, damn, okay. I need to make sure I update my information.
Basically, what it boils down to is that you'll go into a bank.
Yeah.
I won't mention the bank, but it's like that in multiple now.
Yeah.
And they'll ask you, okay, do you have the articles of incorporation for your business? Yeah. Yes, I do. You give it to them, and they want to make sure, you know, it's in good standing, active and whatnot. This address, what kind of address is it?
Yeah, it's a
valid
address, right.
It is a, you know, and if you say it's an office space, they're going to ask you for a utility or something like that, or a lease even, showing that, okay, you have
you
that
reside,
space
you have it for yourself.
And just some free game, like, you know, one of my entities that I put a location on, they were like, okay, do you have a term, a beginning term and an ending term on the lease for it to show that, okay, this is where, you know, you're actually doing business, you know, because at the end of the day, they want to make sure it's a legitimate business.
And let me add this on. Investors, please listen to me very carefully. All these gurus outside talking about this, that, and the third. do not falsify any document and give to a bank.
Yep.
Your ass will go to jail.
That's bank fraud.
Say it again.
Bank fraud.
Your ass will go to jail. All these guys talking about loopholes, this, that, and the third, your ass will go to jail. So
And it's easy to find
think-
because
yeah.
they're looking for it.
They're looking.
They're
Mhm.
looking.
So just try to
be
do
careful.
Just try to do things the right way right now, and just go by the books.
Yep.
Right. This
It's
minute.
gonna be tough, but
Yeah, sometimes
You
it
gotta
can
do your
be
own due
challenging, but
diligence.
you have to understand, like, a business is an entity. You want to look as professional as you possibly can when you're gonna go do business with a bank,
Right.
because technically we're business partners here, right? And I have to make sure my business is presented a certain way for them to trust me to give me a certain amount of money, right? So ideally, just get it done the right way once, so we don't have to keep backtracking over and over again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, I think it's good to touch on too. Like in our situation, we have a partnership.
Yeah.
We have a multi-member LLC
With the operating
with
agreement.
the operating agreement. Just to touch on a few pointers.
Now, before you go, if you're doing it by yourself, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
If you're doing it by yourself, okay. But obviously, this is a group.
It's a group.
Okay, so
You wanna have a
what he's
operating
talking about.
agreement.
You have to have an operating agreement amongst all the members of your business. So.
It's having a multi-member LLC is super beneficial. Yeah, it takes a lot of trust, but like I said, we have an operating agreement. You know, any kind of assets that we acquire, any kind of funding. You know, if I'm the guarantor, Gio's the guarantor, Danny, Pat, we're still written on paper when we apply for it.
Yeah.
We're the guarantor, but within the operating agreement, we make sure we stipulate that everybody's responsible for that
Right.
debt.
financially.
yes.
So God forbid
Yep.
something happens, you have a falling out,
Yep.
and this happens, blah blah blah. Well, okay, you filed for it, you applied for it, you're the guarantor, but guess what? I got an operating agreement that states that we are
all
responsible. So you
are
take it to court
responsible.
and make sure that everybody responsible for paying their share.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's
simple as
when
that.
when you have multiple people you're gonna go in business with,
Yeah.
there has to be a certain amount of trust.
Yeah.
There has to be a certain amount of trust, a certain amount of, we're boys, but we're still very professional.
Yep.
At the same time, so
Like,
if you go multiple people, get that paperwork signed.
yeah. The thing is, a lot of times, and I've seen it multiple times, like, we just homies and we just kind of, just doing business. Something goes wrong and it just destroys everything, man, because you got to get that paperwork right, man. Get the legalities out of the way 1st. You know what I mean?
Everybody got to
So-
respect it.
if
You have to
everybody-
respect it.
like,
Everybody got to
like,
respect it.
Even the system that we have.
So-
when we're voting on what we're gonna do and how much money we're gonna spend, he may say we're only spending 20,000, and I'm like, man, let's do 50.
Yep.
So now we have 2 individuals left to vote, and depending on what happens, that's what's gonna happen. So there is certain things that we have on paper that, regardless of how you feel, your feelings does not matter, because this is a legal document.
Right.
Period.
And to get over, shift gears just a little bit. Let me tell you the benefits. That's why it's important to lock in with the right people. Because with a multi-member LLC, that means more funding.
Whole lot of funding, man.
That should be a whole nother segment.
That's a whole nother segment.
That's a whole nother segment.
Yeah, but I'm just drop this line. Put
Yes.
it this way. When you filing, your paperwork or applying for funding, whatever the case may be, and they ask you, who owned 25% or more of the business and whatnot, like, at the end of the day, there's one guarantor,
Yeah.
right? So guess what? If I'm the guarantor on one card
Yeah.
for $25K, you can be what?
Another 25K.
Do the
guarantor.
25K.
25K.
Do the math.
That's 100K.
Do the math.
Right there already.
Do the math.
100K.
In one hit.
Check this out.
In one hit.
Check this out. With one bank,
Right.
I don't call the bank name, right? One bank. I think every single one of us right here has a personal guarantor credit card, not just one, multiple.
Multiple. Yep.
So from that standpoint, it could extend and give us a lot of funding.
A lot of
The more
leverage.
funding you get, the more you can leverage that to buy more properties to potentially make more money.
Yeah.
So that's one bit. Well, that benefited us significantly, tremendously. You know what I mean? So, when it came to, and then again, that was just one bank.
Right.
We have multiple banks that we've played like we went on a week.
That's not a segment.
Just ran it through.
That's a lot.
That's not a segment.
So obviously, bringing it back to where we started out to structuring your business, right? You
Yeah.
got to have the right people to structure the business, your LLC. If you're going as an out-of-town investor, if you're going into that city, make sure you have your foreign
entity.
entity filed,
Yep.
registered, and all of that stuff. What else did we touch on?
Foreign entity, multi-member LLC,
Right.
versus
Operating
single
agreement.
member.
Operating agreement.
Yep.
Right.
One thing I think before we cut, the titles of everybody,
Right.
Like how that could play a part.
Yes.
You know, you never want to use owner
Yeah.
Right.
or
Yeah.
or
Everybody's a
president.
manager.
Everybody's a managing member. You know what I mean?
Managing member.
Why? Because it you know, when you go and you present yourself to the banks, you know, it shows that there's not one head honcho.
Yeah.
Right.
At the end of the day,
Every
you
single
know,
person is equal.
everybody's even if you're a single member LLC, you're still a managing
Yeah, just
member.
manager member.
You know what I mean? If they want to get, when they're doing underwriting, if they want to go into specifics,
Yeah.
then you could go into specifics and be 100% honest with them. Don't fucking lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Be honest. Tell them, because at the end of the day, like, it's your ass on the line.
Yeah.
If you default and the banks want to come and find you, they're gonna find you.
Yep.
You know, that's the bottom line. But you should be a managing member.
Yeah.
Managing member all day. That's a good universal and blanket title to have, you know, under your entity.
Yep.
That's not a gem right there.
So we're giving you all these gems about structuring your business in this segment.
Yeah.
Okay, take all this information, do whatever you want to do with it. Again, don't lie in any kind of paperwork because you will go to jail.
Also remember that before I just remembered, you know, when you state yourself as a managing member, keep this in mind. Even if you're a single member LLC, you couldn't eventually add employees to your
Right, you
business.
can.
100%.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
So you can do an amendment
Yeah,
to your
you can amend
business,
your business.
and, you know, put somebody that's, you know, whether a manager
Yeah.
or however you want to put, you know,
Yeah.
it's what, just do that. Make sure you're a managing member.
Could even have your kids as employees.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
pay them up.
Yeah.
Pay them
Up,
up to
Yeah.
12,000.
$13,000.
Yeah.
$12,000.
Tax
Yeah.
free.
That's another segment. That's another segment.
Yep.
All right, so listen, we're gonna cut this one short, but please understand, if you guys, I want to ask you guys a question. If you want us to do an actual class on this, I need you to comment class below this video because I get a lot of DMs in my Instagram of people asking me about structuring business. So for the mass, if you guys want us to do an actual class, like a live class, comment class below, and we'll eventually
We'll take you through it, man. We'll
Yeah.
take you through it step by step.
step by step how to get this done.
Yep. Everybody can eat.
Yeah.
Everybody can eat. So
That's
So-
it, y'all, man. Make
That's
sure if y'all like this episode and we was spitting them some serious knowledge, hey, the name of the podcast is 100% transparency. Drop a fucking 100 in the comments.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, share.
Yeah.
You know, it don't cost nothing much for you to just subscribe.
by the way, don't tell my mama that I curse.
I'm worried. I've just been dropping that bomb. You know, shit,
My dad gonna watch this too, man.
like, you know? But that's how we talk like this all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so but y'all be safe.
Y'all be safe, man.
Hope you enjoyed this one.
Deuce.
Y'all soon, you heard?